There's a quiet revolution happening right now, not in a lab or a factory, but out in the fields that grow our food. It's not really about bigger tractors or stronger chemicals anymore. Nope, it's about something much, much smarter. We're talking about a digital transformation that's happening literally row by row, and it's changing absolutely everything about how food gets to our tables.
So just imagine this for a second. What if a farm could actually think for itself? A farm that knows precisely what every single plant needs at any given moment. One that can feel the moisture in the soil, spot a single pest from hundreds of feet in the air, and deliver water or nutrients with, like, surgical precision. I know, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but believe it or not, this is happening right now.
Okay, so to really get why this revolution is happening, we first have to talk about the enormous challenge that modern farming is facing. I mean, the world's population is skyrocketing, but our resources, land, water, they're not. So the pressure is on to grow way more food, but to do it much more efficiently and, crucially, more sustainably.
And that boils down to this kind of triple threat goal for every farmer out there. First, they've got to boost productivity to feed everyone. Second, they have to increase efficiency just to stay in business. And third, they need to improve sustainability to protect the planet for all of us. I mean, that is a massive, massive undertaking.
So how in the world do you solve a puzzle that big? Well, the answer lies in a complete shift in how we think about farming, a whole new philosophy. It's about stopping this old practice of treating an entire field like it's one big uniform block.
And the core idea? It's brilliantly simple. It's all right here on the screen. This is basically the mantra of what we call precision agriculture. It's about moving away from guesswork and averages, and instead making these hyper-specific, data-informed decisions for every single square meter of a farm.
So yeah, the official term is precision agriculture. And what is it really? It's a management strategy that gathers, processes, and analyzes just tons and tons of data to guide really targeted actions on the farm. So, in short, it's about giving each crop exactly what it needs, exactly where it needs it, and exactly when it needs it. No more, no less.
To see where we're going, it kind of helps to see where we've been. For thousands of years, farming was traditional, all about human and animal labor. Then, the 20th century brought the mechanization revolution. Think tractors, combines, that whole deal. And today, we are smack in the middle of the third great wave, the era of data-driven, intelligent farming.
So what does this new era of farming actually look like on the ground? What are the tools that make all this possible? Well, let me tell you, the modern farmer's toolkit is starting to look a lot like something you'd find in Silicon Valley.
And what's really wild is the sheer breadth of technology we're talking about here. It's this fusion of hardware, software, and data science. You've got GPS and GNSS. That's just a fancier term for all the global satellite systems that guide tractors. You've got IoT, the Internet of Things, with sensors buried right in the soil. And all of that data feeds into AI that can actually predict how well the crops are going to do. It's incredible.
Let's start with GPS, because this is so much more than just the maps on your phone. We're talking about auto-steering tractors that can plant seeds, spray fertilizer, and harvest crops with centimeter-level accuracy. Think about that. Day or night, perfect lines, no overlap, which means less fuel wasted.
And then you've got the farm's eyes in the sky, drones and satellites. These things are flying over fields with special cameras that can see things the human eye can't. They can spot areas of stress, maybe from pests or disease or a lack of water, long before a farmer walking the fields would ever notice a problem.
And back on the ground, you have what's basically the farm's nervous system, these tiny Internet of Things, or IoT sensors. They're scattered all over the fields, and they are constantly measuring things like soil moisture, temperature, and nutrient levels, beaming all that data back to the farmer in real time.
Okay, so all this amazing technology is one thing, but what does it actually achieve? What's the payoff? Well, this is where the revolution really starts to deliver some pretty incredible results.
First and foremost, yields go up. It's that simple. By giving every single plant the perfect conditions to thrive, farmers can grow more food from the exact same piece of land. And we're not talking small potatoes here. Some studies show yield increases of 5 to 15%. That is absolutely critical for our global food security.
But here's the thing, it's not just about getting more out, it's also about putting less in. So instead of just blanketing an entire field with fertilizer, a technology called variable rate application lets a machine apply it only where the sensors say it's needed. This dramatically cuts down on chemical use and, of course, costs.
And this next one might be the most important of all. It saves a ton of water. Smart irrigation systems use that soil moisture data to deliver water directly to a plant's roots, right when it's needed. For a farmer in a place that's always in a drought, this could cut water use by 20% or more. That isn't just a saving. For a lot of them, that's survival.
So when you put it all together, you get this, the precision payoff. This chart says it all, really. Crop production goes up, resource use, water, fertilizer goes down, and the environmental footprint gets smaller. It's a win for the farmer, a win for you and me, and a win for the planet.
Now, this whole transformation isn't just happening in some distant fields you'll never see. It's fundamentally changing the entire food system, and you're going to start seeing its impact right on your own dinner plate.
And this leads to some really exciting trends. We're seeing shorter supply chains because smaller, super efficient farms can now sell more directly to us. All this data allows for full traceability, so you can literally scan a code and know the whole story of your food, from the seed to the shelf. It's also paving the way for big innovations like vertical farming and new alternative foods.
And get this, it's not just changing farming practices, it's changing the business of farming. New models are popping up where farmers don't even have to buy all that expensive equipment. They can lease it as a service or use digital platforms to get expert advice and analytics on demand.
Now, as incredible as all this sounds, let's be realistic. The road to the smart farm isn't perfectly paved. There are some major hurdles. That initial cost for the tech can be a huge barrier, there's a steep learning curve, and the digital divide is a real thing. A lot of rural areas still don't have reliable internet. Plus, we've got to tackle big questions about who owns all this data, and most importantly, how we make these tools work for small family farms, not just giant corporations.
But even with all those challenges, the take-home message is crystal clear. This is not just some fleeting trend. This fusion of agriculture and digital technology, this is the definitive future. It's the only real path forward to a world that can be both well-fed and environmentally sound.
And that leaves us with a pretty fascinating final thought. As farming becomes more about analyzing data than, say, just driving a tractor, the very definition of a farmer is changing right before our eyes. They're becoming technologists, analysts, innovators. So is the farmer of the future really just a data scientist who happens to wear boots? It's definitely something to think about.